Read all about it. Sunday papers. It just flopped on your doorstep. It's got a blue plastic bag on it, and it smells like ink.
There we go.
Hey,
it smells like ink.
Don't you remember that smell
hey,
when you get the Sunday paper and the Sunday comics were the outside layer and you fucking took a sniff?
Isn't it all coupons and all that crap now that's all over
Well, now
it
is. Yeah, now it's all coupons.
Tire ads?
Yep. Tire ads.
You know, we just went through the show a little bit, and I forgot to bring up, might as well talk about it now, the koozie sitch.
Oh, what's the koozie sitch?
Right. So I've been out of town, back in town. I have a giant bag of koozies that were delivered, but you and I have to autograph them.
Okay.
And then I got to get them out. And I think a lot of people you've sent me, you haven't sent me that many, who are like, I haven't gotten it.
No, it's just a handful.
Yeah, I haven't gotten it yet. I think some of those were when we were even sold out of our second batch.
Yeah. So
but I feel badly, but they were late.
So the third batch is in.
You're going to take some on the road.
Yeah.
You're gonna sell them. We're going to split it 50-50, just like I did all this work on this fucking personally licking envelopes and shit.
You know I was kidding when I said that, right?
Well, I kind of get it a little. Like you're on the road, now it's some merch, and maybe 50. After a while, I'll revisit it. Like if you're
I will take 50%. You did all the work on the koozies. I don't know why. I think you're an insane person.
I was a little.
And I saw your daughter last night. She came over and was hanging out with my daughter, and she said that she was, what's the word when you make somebody work? She was ensigned or enlisted.
Did she say she was not good at the task that she was assigned?
Well, I guess she earned what you paid her, which was nothing after promising her money.
I still haven't paid her yet. Yeah. That's coming out of you're paying half of it.
Yeah. How much we paying her?
Huh?
We paying her by the hour or by the koozie?
I told her I'd pay her to give me an hour to try to get some envelopes out the door back in December.
She did 1 hour?
I did everything, dude. It was crazy.
You're really nuts. You know there's companies that do this, right?
Yeah, and then we get like no money for our koozies.
Yeah.
And this is a personal touch.
It is nice.
We even hand wrote on some envelopes.
Yep. No, it was very nice, and I appreciate you doing it. I appreciate the effort. I will come by today or tomorrow, and we'll do a little signing session.
I could also bring them to the game Monday, Michigan game. We got to do that.
Oh, sign them at the Penmar?
Maybe, or something, or before.
Yeah.
Oh, not before. Well
anyway, Happy New Year, everybody. I know last week was I think we aired on the 31st. So this is our first show of 2024. And we are going to do our predictions. We asked you guys to send in some topics for us to predict. We got a bunch of those. We'll get to that later. We will see who won. Me and Mike made our predictions, and we'll see who got the most right. And what does the winner get?
I think it's bragging rights for a year, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
I believe so.
I think you won, and I think I won.
Yeah, it's not a landslide by any stretch. But going through it, I saw you had some crazy ones.
I did. But what's funny is we went in opposite directions on Earthquake this year.
Oh, we'll get to Earthquake.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, we can ask that. No one will agree with you.
Well, we'll see. I think the scientists will.
They won't, because they also know how distance works.
Okay. Yeah. So, New Year's Eve. Let me recount mine. I think when we spoke last, I had not done my stellar performance on New Year's Eve in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in front of some people that, let's be honest, New Year's Eve crowds are by far the worst crowd of the year because they're people that don't go out all year. And then all of a sudden New Year's Eve comes up and they go, we should go out. We should go out tonight. Where should we go? And then, of course, Comedy Club is just the easiest decision. So they're not comedy fans. Half of them have never heard of me, which isn't an issue. But Milwaukee I don't want to insult the city of Milwaukee, but there was a lack of enthusiasm. There was a lack of, I don't know. I bombed. Let's just say I bombed on New Year's Eve leading up to midnight.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was brutal because nobody was paying attention. Everybody's like looking at their phones. They're getting champagne and I'm distracted and it just it flatlined. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get off stage. I'll see you guys in 15 minutes. And then I brought, I teased that we were going to do a dating show and that we're going to get two people to kiss at midnight. And that they were going to get a sweatshirt from the Improv, a T-shirt from the feature act, Deion Curry, and I was going to give them a pin. And so we got 4 people on stage, 2 dudes. One was an oil rig guy. The other one was an automotive mechanic.
Okay.
And the 2 women that came on stage were both attractive, and they happened to be mother and daughter.
Oh.
So we hook up the mother with the oil field guy because he's got more money. And the daughter,
he's got a ton of lube. That tracks.
A ton of lube, and he can frack, baby. He can frack it up. And so at midnight we had them kiss, and the mother just pecked the guy, but the daughter fucking went in hard. And
this
the guy
sounds like a great show. What are you talking about?
And the guy kind of turned his face to the side.
Oh,
so. Yeah, but we gave everybody sweatshirts and T-shirts and pins, so it was fun for them.
Sounds like it was time for the daughter to get with the oil rig.
I know.
Wow. All right.
How was your New Year's Eve?
So I went down to New Orleans for 3 nights, and just because we wanted to get out of town, but we didn't want to compete with everyone going to sunny locations and Mexico or Florida, anything like that. So it was just easy. Weather was great. New Orleans was amazing. And stayed in a really great place out by the Lower Garden District, which is near the Warehouse District. Where
that's nice down there.
Yeah, it was great. And so unfortunately, the entire town was packed with Texans because the Texas-Washington game, the Sugar Bowl, was right there in New Orleans. And Washington fans were there too, but they're not assholes. They're not just wounded ego, screaming, walking around in cowboy outfits, which, by the way, when I say cowboy outfits, that's how they dress, a lot of these people.
Yeah.
They're wearing sharp, stupid cowboy boots that cowboys don't even wear and just yeehawing all over the fucking place. So,
no, I love those guys. They got the hats, they got the boots, they got the little crease in the jeans. And then they go to work on Monday and they sit in a cubicle and they sell insurance all day.
With their dockers.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we're sitting at a bar at one point and we are there, and I'm rooting for Michigan because of my daughter. And we're rooting for Michigan, and there's Washington people down the bar. And we have to whisper to each other because all the Texas assholes are everywhere. And they're like, you guys are going for Michigan, so are we. And then they're like, please beat Alabama. And we're like, please beat Texas to them, right? And we start doing it. And then eventually, we're drinking and getting more and more drunk. And we're getting louder and the Texans are in there. But we're eventually like, it just became, we were so excited for the South to lose across the board. That's what it became. And then when
it was the Civil War.
Oh, and then when Texas, all of a sudden they're pouting all over town when they lost later that night. Hannah had said that it was like education won the day because they're also clearly better schools, and no matter
funny.
what UT says,
yeah.
And so it was great to have those villains. It just made it so, and the games were unbelievable.
Yeah, great games.
Gibbons pointed out that Michigan, the last play, the opposing coach, Alabama coach, got so much criticism for what was that run up the middle, but it was a low snap. And then they showed what the play was designed. And if he was supposed to run left, but I guess the snap was so low, he couldn't then look over. And it was also, I guess, a pass option.
Yeah.
And either the pass or if he ran left, totally would have scored, I think.
Yep. No, he never picked his head up. That was the problem. Nick Saban never picked his head up.
Well, Saban, right, there's the coach.
Yeah.
And that was the call, but yeah, I mean, it was just, then the QB ran right up the middle. But man, that QB is, and of course I don't know, Milroe, talented.
Yeah.
What an athlete. But anyway, we did that. But New Year's Eve, we went and saw Billy Strings played the University of New Orleans stadium there.
How many people is that?
Huh?
How many people is that?
Or arena. Well, it was cut off. It's like a hockey arena. It was cut off a little bit.
So it's like 15,000 or so. Yeah.
I don't know how many, but he sold it out 3 nights.
Damn.
And then we call. I don't know, for you, those of you who don't know Billy Strings, he's bluegrass, but he's becoming like the darling. And Chris is saying he sold out a 10,000 seater there in St. Louis. His following is getting gigantic because the dude comes to play. And yeah, he's like a fish type fans. The whole place was dancing. And so we called and we heard, he's going to stay on through midnight. We're like, well, what time does he go on? So it said he goes on at 9. We're like, he doesn't really go on at 9. There's probably a warm-up band, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, he went on at 9:04 and played till 1:30 a.m. And the help in the stadium, like these female ushers, these 2 old black women were talking, and she's like, fuck that. She's like, stay on till like 12:15. You proved your point, and then let's all go home.
She should have been at my show in Milwaukee. I was on at 11:15, off at 11:42.
But he was and dude, he played, let me look it up. I'm spacing it on the cover. He played this deep cut from Pink Floyd. It was off metal. It was unbelievable.
Dude, when you told me how good he was, I've been listening to him for the last day. Blown away. So fucking good. I like that. What's the one about Divide?
He's incredible. He really, I mean,
great guitar playing.
I cannot even believe his hands still move after 4 hours. It was nuts.
Right.
Anyway, it was a really great show. Everyone in there was just so into it. He played this incredible Willie Nelson cover. His voice is great. So anyway, that was my New Year's, and we rang it in there, and he was all business, man. It was great.
See any tits in New Orleans?
No, I wasn't really looking for them, to be honest. We tried to avoid because of you combine Bourbon Street with Texas, and it's just an asshole palooza.
Yeah.
So yeah, we try to avoid that. But went to my favorite place, Lafitte's Blacksmith Shop, which now has TVs, which is crazy to me. They didn't even have electricity when I first started going there a million years ago, and so we avoided like the real heavy parts of Bourbon Street. So didn't see any.
Well. It's a new year. I asked you guys at the end of last year to push me over 100,000 on Instagram. I got a ton of new people, but I'm still at 99,700. So if 300 more people can go to my handle is just my name, Greg Fitzsimmons, Instagram, do it. I want to thank Matt.
Maybe I'll transfer some of mine to you.
Oh, that'd be great.
I have a tiny bit to spare.
All young chicks, too. The logo this week is from Matt A. Did you see the logo?
The logo's great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We're doing that story.
DJ Seaweed put a groovy track together for us. Thank you, DJ. He's contributed a lot this year. Also, we got some feedback. Mark Dimitrich said Adam Copeland's Sunday Papers theme music for 197 is a perfectly tuned dog whistle for an audience able to hear beyond the frequency of the cacophonous room it was recorded in. What he lacks in recording equipment and acoustic sound baffling, he makes up for tenfold with masterful guitar playing, seemingly recorded live in a small room while singing along to a pre-recorded backing track. Simple and incredibly effective, reminiscent of a podcast in its early days recorded via Zoom in closets. He goes on and on about how great it is. But yeah, go back and listen to Adam Copeland's. He ends with, also Greg so generously points out at 29 minutes into the episode, again, you don't have to be a great musician, but Adam Copeland really is. If you go to the end of the podcast, you can hear the song in its entirety. We only play usually like 20 seconds at the beginning.
I'm realizing, does your microphone have baffling on it?
What's baffling?
Isn't that what it's, the sound stuff? No, it's actually a filter where you're always baffling. Hold on, wait. I think mine popped up. It is. This thing.
That's baffling? I thought that
I
was
just realized, I don't know what it's called.
I thought that was a
Baffling
wind cover or something.
Insulation, I think.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think it
This
stops the
sounds a little
peas
weird.
from popping a little bit.
This is where I'm going to put it sounds like I'm applying a condom to the end of my mic. I apologize for any sounds this is making, but it's probably warmer now. AMSR.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine me doing AMSR. Just listen to your...
Corrections from Rick. Rick says, how could Mike not know the name of the Michigan quarterback?
And I am so full-blown worried. I'm fading into oblivion. I can't remember anything.
His last name is your mother's maiden name. Is that true?
Whorebag? What? That's so... I would remember that.
What?
Yeah.
Now, what's your mother's maiden name?
No, it's your mother's maiden name.
Oh, McCarthy. Right.
I'm not giving out my mother's maiden name. It's like my security word on things.
I know. I've given out my dog's name, my mother's maiden name, my favorite car.
Yeah.
My first teacher.
I think we've talked about those. I can't even answer the first 6 things. They'll be like, favorite sport. I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, favorite song. Yeah. I mean, it changes. Like,
right.
Am I that all over the place?
Yeah, I know. And what color was your first car? Well, the first one my parents owned or the first one I bought?
Right. Well, the first one I bought, you can search all day. You're not going to find Harvest Beige. That's what it was. I remember it.
Mine was mostly rust. Whatever color rust is, I guess rust. That was my first car. It was an 1976 Volkswagen Rabbit, covered in rust. Matter of fact, the floorboards were rusted out in the front seat. So when I would drive in the rain or slush, the tires would kick the slush up into the car until the floorboards overnight would freeze, and I would get in the car and I would have ice under my feet while I was driving.
I remember they would put maybe they still do. Like, they really want to know your zip code when you're asking the value of your own car.
Yeah.
Oh, if you live in a snowy city, man, you're getting pounded.
Right.
The corrosion underneath it.
What kind of car?
The way it used to be anyway.
What make and model was your first car?
Subaru GL Wagon. I bought it in Boston used while I was a student at BU. Dirt cheap. And it lasted forever. Remember, I painted the whole thing.
Didn't you deliver chicken wings in that car?
Oh, 783 Bird. Wing it in Boston.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I delivered chicken wing, and it stunk like chicken wings. That is true.
I got so many hand jobs in my Volkswagen. It was amazing.
Wow. Delivering chicken wings?
Yep. This comes from Felicia Baker Carr. Bloody hell, Greg. I know you know Canada has a prime minister, not a president. But in 4 minutes and 3 seconds, you referenced Justin Trudeau as the president of Canada.
I ignored that.
You have shown yourself to be a typical ethnocentric American, and raspy-voiced Mike did not even have the temerity to call you out on your blatant error. Did you notice?
I did. I just gave you you didn't know the name, but the question was, wait, who's he can't keep up with the president of Canada. Who's that again? So I just coughed up Trudeau.
Oh, I thought you said true dat. I thought you were just agreeing with me.
Well, leader, man, it's not so bad.
Tour dates, Den Theater in Chicago this Saturday night, January 13th. It's close to sold out.
Is that
Get
Chris
your tickets
Denman's
now.
Theater?
That's right. Atlanta Punchline in Georgia, January 18th through 20. Portland Helium Comedy Club, February 22nd through 24. La Jolla Comedy Store, March 8th through 10th. And Tampa at Side Splitters, April 4th through 6th. Also announcing March 16th, Mike and I will be performing at the Improv for our annual St. Patrick's Day show.
Oh, shit. If I'm not in New York.
How dare you?
If I am not
I think you missed it last year, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a good lineup. Last year we had Zach Galifianakis, we had Bill Burr, we had
Wait, was I there?
Harlan Williams.
Yeah, you don't even remember. I was there.
Oh, you were. Okay, good.
I performed.
You
and
did
that's
great.
when Gibbons got on the couch and went down in history in a now famous improv photograph that was taken.
Oh, right.
That made it into like a collection of photos from like the improv's anniversary, or maybe even
it was like their top photo. No, there was the 60th. It was the 60th anniversary of the Improv, and they were showing photos of the great comics. And on one, it was Bill Burr, Zach, me, and fucking Dennis Gibbons sitting on the couch in the middle. Yeah,
and it was taken while I was on stage.
I think Craig Robinson might have been in the photo too, right? Is Craig Robinson? No. Anyway, it's always a good lineup, so get your tickets for March 16th at the Improv. All tickets at fitzdogradio.com. Also, this show is sponsored by the folks at BetterHelp. BetterHelp is online therapy that is licensed therapists that are better than people you get in person, because they can choose from anybody in your state. I think it's in your state. I'm not sure how it works, but they're amazing. I use them. I had fantastic luck. I've referred them to several people who've all had great luck with BetterHelp. It takes out the inconvenience of commuting, of scheduling it, and, is there a snowstorm and I can't get there? No, because you're sitting in your living room. Granted, your kids are in the next room listening to your deepest, darkest problems, but still,
that'll help.
You're in your living room.
That'll help. No, I know so many people, maybe because the new year, which is a very, popular time to seek therapy and want to make change. I know so many people unable to find a therapist right now.
It's very hard to find a therapist.
So I keep telling them about this.
And if you try one and you don't like them, you can switch over right away. No harm, no foul. It really helps learning positive coping skills, setting boundaries. It's funny, I've been talking to my daughter, trying to teach my daughter about boundaries. Because, at that age, it's when you first start having to have boundaries with friends, and she's trying to put up, she's struggling with that. Not struggling, but, she's encountering it. And, therapy really helps you do that stuff.
And then she asks you, like, Dad, what do you mean exactly by boundaries? You're like, well, we want you to move out. That's an example of a boundary.
We want you to move out of the country. Past the boundaries of the U.S.
Yeah.
So anyway, celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/Sunday today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Sunday.
Oh, man. And that brings us to Game Time, which we all know I love. Used Game Time in New Orleans. We were checking the price of going to the Sugar Bowl. But then we're like, Game Time couldn't do anything about removing all the Texas fans. So we decided to pass. That's not their job. So we decided to pass on that, but used it for Billy Strings and got in there to a sold out show, and it would have been a nightmare otherwise. So that was amazing. So anyway, go to Game Time. Let me look it up right now in Los Angeles. If you want to see the Chiefs, who arguably could win it all at the Chargers tomorrow, $48.
No.
Yep, and I think that's going to go down. You got Supercross, and this is the Discover button on Game Time I love. I didn't know Supercross was in town. There's Supercross, which is twice the price of the NFL ticket at $101 right now. Clippers at Lakers tomorrow, $160. What?
That's pretty
go
sweet.
Down. Keep watching it. They have the Rolling Stones listed here for later in the year.
But the best thing is they have these last minute deals, and you can pick your seats and then take a look at how they look from the viewpoint on the app. The app is amazing. A couple of taps, it's in your phone. You don't have to download. You don't have to print. It's really simple.
And the all-in-one price is what I love, because you have to check that. To be totally honest, when I was in New Orleans, I was on Game Time. Hannah was on another app, and then she's like, oh, I found a deal. It was like twice the price of the deal she found once you figured in prices and everything. Not with Game Time. All the prices are up front. They show you what you're doing. You buy it in 2 seconds with the app. As you said, you can see the view from your seat. Lowest price guaranteed. There's event cancellation protection, job loss protection. And they have zone deals. They have game time picks. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PAPERS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PAPERS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
There you go. So anyway, let's get into it. We talked about it. We're going to pay it off. It's time for the predictions.
Is that a section here? Paper. I'm calling it a section.
All right, so here's a few people wrote in, and Tim Dilly, who's the guy who bought the golf package that benefited people during the writer's strike.
I think we just saw a picture of Tim Dilly playing hoops with Coach K or something like that.
What?
Yeah, it was on a text chain. Would you ignore?
Tim Dilly will definitely get divorced from his wife of 30 years if the morons on the Sunday Papers podcast don't stop saying he spent $4,200 for a round of golf. You'd think the host would be savvy enough to guess that Tim had to lie to his wife about how much he bid. Take that one to Vegas and bet the limit. Happy New Year, Tim Dilly.
It's still a fraction of what you paid up for Blow when we did it the whole night before.
And the guys, the escorts were they were top notch. They were actors in their day job.
I think some of them were professional athletes. The bodies on them.
Oh my God! What about that guy Jimbo?
Yeah.
Sean said, "Happy New Year, Merry blah blah Jews."
Huh.
Predictions: will Justin Trudeau A, stop being a Nazi, B, die, C, be on the next Starship test launch, D, wear blackface again? Wow, this guy Sean does not like Trudeau or Jews.
Or E, stop being president.
Right. Yeah. People, I can never tell if people like him. He's like loved or hated, right?
I bet he's good looking.
Yeah.
And he's a little similar to our Governor Newsom here. I bet there's the same rap on them a little bit, where I think the right views them as too woke and soft. I could be wrong. I mean, that's definitely Newsom's rap. I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly.
Anyway, Zach said do 3 death predictions each.
Okay.
Also, someone unexpected, still in their prime, and bonus points for predicting how they die.
Did you see I did that? I didn't even read this letter.
Really?
And I did that, but I did it just for laughs. Yeah, my last one is not one you'd expect.
And then also a comedian who dies. Invariably, each one of your colleagues dies. So predict it's going to be, my money's on Bert Kreischer. Oh, don't say it. Having his long-awaited heart attack. I don't think Bert can be killed. I think he is indestructible. He's
also so engaged with doctors, but in the funniest way. I've told this before, but I'm with him in the writer's room on the cabin thing, and he comes in and he's like, he just came from the doctor, and he's like, fucking guy. And I'm like, what? He's like, well, I asked him, my levels are crazy. And I go, what can I do? And he's like, it's the easiest thing in the world. Drink less. And he's like, what else? And he had no other suggestions.
All right, let's get to it. We mentioned it briefly. Super Bowl. We're going to keep track of who won last year and then make the prediction for next year. Right, last year.
Yeah.
For the Super Bowl, I picked the Chiefs. You picked the Bills. Chris picked the Eagles. And Kansas City beat the Eagles 38-35. I have 1 point.
I wasn't even in the Super Bowl. Both of you guys were in the Super Bowl with your picks, at least. All right, you have 1 pick. Okay.
So for 2024, I'm going to go with not the favorite, but Baltimore, I think, is going to take it.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's cheap. Are you doing this to make me laugh? Did I put in the wrong?
No, I looked it up.
You put another pick, and I put Baltimore.
No, I picked Baltimore.
Oh, God. No. Maybe I put it in the other document. I saw your pick. You picked... I forgot who you picked. I thought it was KC.
Absolutely not. Pick Baltimore. So we're both picking Baltimore?
Well, now let me look. I'll change mine. I don't want to be the same
as you. All
right,
I'll change mine. I'll say 49ers.
No, you know what?
That'll make Gibbons happy.
I'm taking 49ers.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, you took Baltimore.
Okay.
I mean, the reason I don't mind taking the 49ers is because that's who I want.
Yeah, I would love for them to win, too. But, you know, I also, I like, what's his name? Who's the quarterback for Baltimore? Kendrick
McCarthy.
Lamar. Lamar Jackson. Kendrick Lamar Jackson. Will we get COVID in 2023? I said, no, will Greg get COVID in 2023? And I said, I will not. You said, I definitely will. And you said, remember, I get 2 points. I did not get COVID this year. So,
right. And I said, because I listened to the podcast today from last year. I said I get 2 points because you're wrong and I'm right.
Okay, so I get 2 points since I didn't get it.
What, you got COVID?
I didn't get COVID. I've never had COVID.
I thought you finally got it this year.
Nope. So that's 2 points for me. I'm up 3.
You've never had it?
Never had it in my life.
Oh, it's the biggest fucking denial ever.
What am I going to lie? You think I wouldn't have mentioned having COVID?
Saying, no, you're forgetting you got it. You finally got it. We were all surprised.
I never got COVID.
You stayed in the back house.
No, Aaron had COVID. That's why I stayed in the back.
I don't know.
This year, my daughter got it, and my wife got it, and I did not.
You're in thick rooms where everyone's mouth breathing.
It's crazy. You know what it shows? How little people are laughing at my shows. If they were laughing more, I would have caught it by now.
But still, they're screaming, give me my money back, and I bet mucus is flying everywhere.
Tackling me after the show, breathing in my face. All right, so I'm up 3. Denman, are you keeping score? All right. So do you want to bet again for next year? You want to re-up that bet?
I don't know. You're vaccinated?
Yeah, but not fully.
Do you have microchips in you?
I'm not up to date on it.
Well, you're a liar. So what am I going to bet against this again? You don't. You get so sick and you don't test.
This hurts me so deeply. No, I've never had symptoms. I don't get sick. I literally never get sick.
I used to be able to say that. I don't know what's going on lately, but it's just a head cold.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to bet on that again? I've gotten it once that I know of.
It's up to you.
I got the second strain.
I feel like
2 years ago.
I feel like I'll never get it. So if you want to bet again, I'll do it.
Do we want to bet if you get sick this year?
If I get COVID.
Oh. Sure. Why not?
I think it's my HIV. It's incompatible.
That cocktail is strong.
Stock market, of course I said it's going up, and of course you said it's going down. I believe the S&P was up 25% this year.
NASDAQ even more.
Which I have a guy who manages my money, who takes 1% of all of my money every year as a management fee, and I'm up about 5%, and the market's up 25%. Explain that to me.
I know what it is. It's your age, and you're diversified, not to be in all stocks.
I know, but then when the market goes down, I seem to go down too.
Well, that's where he's pocketing some of that.
Right. All right, so now I am up 4. Let's go to Bitcoin. I said it would go up. You said it would go down. It went up 150%.
Did you change these? You said it would go up?
Absolutely.
Oh boy. All right. Well, that 2-point swing on your COVID lie, that's where I really thought I had you.
You mean the thing that you insisted on the podcast, that it's 2? Earthquake. You said, will there be an earthquake of 5.5 or above in California?
No, we did not say that. It's a Los Angeles earthquake. The reason I don't own a home.
So now you're going to change it to, it said California in this document earlier.
Who gives a shit if there's an earthquake in Mount Shasta?
You took out California in the document, didn't you?
No, I swear to God, I didn't touch anything.
Right, and I've never had COVID.
We're talking about one here with damage that would validate me finally for not owning a home. Come on.
Well, I don't know.
And you picked a place that's the equivalent of going from like New York City to past Washington, D.C. Yeah, hold on.
All right, let's call this a push. I'm going to call this a push.
This is literally what Greg's putting in here. A movement, which, also, we talked about what damage, and you're like, you went on. First, you're going, it would cause $5.5 million damage. I'm like, you mean Kanye's house? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So we settled then on billions. So you already lost there. This is in Lake Almanor, which is 583 miles away. Listeners, imagine 583 miles from your house.
All right, I'll give you the point on that one.
It's a 215-hour walk. Let me switch it to car.
All right. Oh, we forgot to make our predictions.
9-hour drive.
All right, so I'll give you a point on that. Next year, I am going to guess that there is not... Mike gets a point. I will guess that there is not a 5.5 in Los Angeles.
Did you feel the earthquake yesterday?
No.
So
was it a 5.5?
I'm feeling out of sorts and a little weird. Sophie and I were upstairs. We're trying to clean stuff and throw stuff out. And I'm like, and I hate when this happens. I feel it. And I'm like, do you feel that? She's like, no. And then I'm like, oh, what is going on with my equilibrium? And my whole insides are going back and forth. And none of this is good. And then, of course, you just look on Twitter in 2 seconds, and the funniest tweets are on there about the earthquake.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm going to say, I'm going back to yes.
Okay. We got yes and no. Demon, are you recording these predictions? All right. Let's go back.
I think the podcast is recorded.
We forgot to do predictions on stock market. What do you see for next year?
Oh yeah, that's your move. We just deal with last year. I think the stock market's going to go up.
I also think it's going up.
Even after the big gain up.
Yes. We both say up. Bitcoin, I believe, is going up as well.
Wait, you know what we should think about? But what if Trump wins? I mean, I guess even with that disruption, I think obviously the stock market would love it, right?
Yeah, but they love Biden. They just reported 230,000 more jobs. The stock market is up. Biden's great for the economy.
Yeah, it's called investment. Don't get me started. But I would say, yeah, either way, unless it gets bloody, either way.
Okay. And then we got to make all right, now we're down to the death pool. We asked who will die this year.
Did we want to do Bitcoin up or down? Does that really matter?
We just did. I said up.
I'd say up.
Okay. Death pool. I predicted. We each picked 3 people. All 3 of mine died. Bob Barker, Henry Kissinger, and Queen Elizabeth, whatever her last name is. What's her last name?
Tudor. No idea.
You predicted Tony Bennett, Bob Barker, and Jimmy Carter, so you only got 1 right, so I get 2 points.
Was this the list?
Yep.
I think he did a lot of editing. Okay.
Wait, what is definitely alive? I put Mel Brooks. You put, what's DVD?
Dick Van Dyke.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
All right, so I get 2 points for that one, so I'm up 6. Now we get, and then who are we going to pick for next year? I have down.
Wait, what 2 points do you have?
I predicted 3 people died. You only predicted 1.
Oh, okay.
Then we get to next year death pool. I'm going to say Jimmy Carter, Pope, whatever his name is, and Ethel Kennedy. We each get 3 picks. I'm going to say Ethel Kennedy.
I'm going to say Jimmy Carter. Sadly, I'm going to say Chris Christopherson because I want everyone to think about him while he's alive. and Kelly Ripa.
Nice. Nice.
No. I'm going to go Carter because I'll just tie you on that either way. And then I'm going to do I'm going to do Christopherson, and I'm going to go Dick Van Dyke.
Okay.
I had Robert Wagner in there. I don't know how he's still alive with all the blood still on his hands from killing his wife.
Oscars last year, I said Banshees in Inisherin. You didn't seem to make a prediction, but either way, I was wrong.
I went back and I listened. I did say I liked Banshees, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it was staying with me. I listened to the podcast today.
All right, so no points there. 2000.
But I would have guessed. I'm the best at this because I work backwards from what's the most politically remember I think I even guessed Green Book, which was the biggest piece of shit after school movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And insulting on top of it racially. So, but I think I even guessed that because I just experienced this town's absolute terrified view of things in what I do.
They, there was the whole argument. Did you ever see Extras when Kate Winslet was on and she was talking about playing roles for either that you're mentally handicapped or in the Holocaust? It's so fucking ballsy that she did that.
And then when she won one, Ricky Gervais goes, "Didn't I tell you you'd have to play in a Holocaust role?" And that's the one she in real life won for.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to pick the movie for 2024.
Yeah, man. I haven't seen a lot of these.
I haven't seen any of them except for Barbie. I walked out of Maestro. I heard Past Lives is very good.
Yeah, I've heard it's good, but then someone told me I wouldn't like it. Interesting. I saw the Holdovers. And I am not a Payne, isn't that his name?
Yeah.
I am not Alexander Payne audience. I'm not his guy.
Yeah.
I think Sideways was overrated. I think there's a lot of sideways in this with Giamatti going on with minutia and overthinking. It's very similar. I know a lot of people like the one in Hawaii, The Descendants, and I just remember George Clooney comically or trying to be comically running around in flip-flops, although I remember liking that one a little better. I don't know.
I loved all his movies.
I think the problem is I feel him trying to be funny, and I think he's terribly unfunny.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to pick Oppenheimer because it is Holocaust adjacent. It was a Japanese kind of genocide.
Okay, I haven't seen Oppenheimer, but this is why I'm not picking it, which is the opposite of you. I'm picking Killers of the Flower Moon because I think you related to a movie, which was a Holocaust-related movie that sympathized with the Germans. That's right. That's what that movie does.
Right.
Poor Germans. Oh, also, not poor Japanese, the poor bomb makers.
Yeah. Yeah.
The poor white men who made the bombs.
Who had no idea what was going to be done with them. We didn't know.
Wait a minute. What are you... I'm done, boss. What are you using this for?
Right.
It's not just for testing in the desert.
Okay.
So I'm Killers of the Flower Moon, even though I did not like the movie.
Okay.
It was good. Don't get me wrong. But same with Holdovers. Very well done, of course.
Are you going to pontificate for 20 minutes on every answer? Or are we going to get through these predictions?
Is over. Are we still recording?
Best actor. Last year, we both said Will Smith. He, in fact, did win with an asterisk. And then this year, I'm saying Bradley Cooper for this Maestro piece of garbage that he absolutely is begging for an Oscar with this role, with his, hey, see, I'm going to play some music, right? And then we're going to do that. It's so annoying, but that's the kind of crap Hollywood loves.
Cooper is smelling an Oscar nom with that giant Jewish nose of his that he wears in the movie.
Right.
I'm going with Giamatti.
Wow.
Because I think this city feels they owe him. I'm hoping that a lot of this city and the voters are sort of annoyed by Cooper like I am, and is just unbelievably transparent, just hunger and
you know what Cooper got paid for that move for Maestro? Because he produced it, directed, and was in it. $40 million.
Wow.
That's reason enough not to give him an Oscar. He got enough already. Actress, I'm going to go Emma Stone.
Did he make such a big... Never mind. Go ahead.
Emma Stone is gold. I always thought she was good, but I have fallen in love with her. She's going to win Best
Emma
Actress.
Stone. She's the only reason that the new... the what's his name? Nate's TV show?
Nate Bargatze?
No. Chris, write it in there. What he knows what I'm trying to talk about. No. I'm totally forgetting what it is. But Emma Stone's in the TV show that's incredibly awkward I'm watching now.
Oh, yeah, where she has autism and she's a scientist?
No, Nathan for You.
Right.
She's in with that guy.
Yeah.
And I got to get the name of... Anyway, I love Emma Stone, but I think it's going to go to Margot Robbie.
I think she deserves it. I think she was great.
The Curse. Thank you, Chris.
All right, God, I got to see that.
I just have to sleep for 3 days and get back on track here.
And then also in 2023, the question was, and this is a tough one, will Will Smith be married? Because this is after the slap. This is after Jada Pinkett was saying crazy shit. Will Smith be married together? ? So I said yes, they will be together. You said no, they will not be together, and they will come up with some bullshit definition like the new version of consciously uncoupling.
That's a quote. I watched the podcast today.
Okay, so the Red Table talk show host who revealed last month she and the Independence Day star have been separated has officially put an end to any speculation about where their marriage stands now. We're staying together forever. So...
if I've ever heard a bullshit definition of they're apart, this is it.
Yeah, I got to give you that. I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Even though technically they are still together. She's saying they're together.
No.
And the question was together, ?
Are they a couple? They're not a couple anymore.
Couple of fucking lunatics.
Yeah, that's what they are.
Next question. Will we get writing jobs that are union, WGA, this year? Well, that was a tough one since we were on strike. So we both said yes, and we were both wrong. So that's a push.
Did we say yes?
We both said yes.
All right.
So
did you edit this? I did this all last night.
I can't believe the insinuations that you're making. It's hurtful.
Because I said union, and because I was like, I thought the question was like, will we work ever again? And then you laughed, and I was serious.
Yeah. So then why did you say yes?
I don't think I put yes in there. All right, let's keep going.
Will Trump run? We both said yes. It looks like he is. So why do we say it twice?
That's what I mean. Something happened to this.
Stop. Will Kamala be on any ticket? We both said no, so that's a push.
Right.
Then there is, will there be violence following a non-Trump win? That is my question for this coming election year. Will there be violence if Trump does not win the election?
Why don't we start with the next one?
All right. Who will win the election? Will it be Trump? We're assuming. Well, actually, we're not assuming anything. You could say Robert Kennedy. You could say anybody you want. Who will win the election? I'm saying Biden.
I am too.
Okay. I'm not saying it's a great thing, but I believe that's what's going to happen. I think America is done with the drama of, even if you align as a conservative, I think you're just tired of the craziness. That's my guess. I also think Robert Kennedy Jr. is going to be a kingmaker because in the end, whoever he gives his votes to is going to win the election because he has a huge following.
Okay.
All right. Will there be violence following a non-Trump win? I say yes.
I mean, listen, that's like your earthquake. We have to define what that means.
All right. Define it as being people are arrested.
Bigger or smaller than exactly a year ago. We're recording this on January 6th or 2 years ago.
Happy January 6th.
Was it 2 or 3 years ago?
2 years ago.
Okay.
Right?
In 2022?
Or was it 2021?
Has to be 2021. Right? God.
He was elected.
We do a news podcast. But we're under the impression it's 2 years ago, right?
Well, it happened after Biden got sworn in. So it was January of 2021 because the election was 2020. Right. So it was January of 2021. Okay. What do you say? Will there be violence? How do we define violence? Bigger or it has to be bigger than the
third
Capitol.
Anniversary. Isn't that weird? I've been under the impression it's 2 years ago. It's a third anniversary.
I'm going to say if he loses, there will be even more insurrection. I think there will be a number of capitals that are attacked.
Larger, I'm going to say smaller.
Okay. So we're both assuming there will be violence. You're just saying it's smaller than the Capitol.
Well, I mean, I think you're going to be able to point to... I mean, listen, when the Eagles win or lose a football game, there's violence.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Last year we asked, will someone make a joke about Will Smith at the Oscars? We both said yes, and yes, indeed, they did. Is Kimmel hosting this year?
Yes.
Will he make another joke about Will Smith? I say yes.
I say yes, too. He's going to go to that well again.
Last year, we said, will Brady get traded or retire? We both said traded. He, in fact, retired. So nobody gets a point there.
I think the wrong guesses might be beating both of us.
That's right. I know. Will Tesla stock get higher? We both said no. It is up a whopping 46%. I wonder if my stockbroker is aware of that.
I went back and looked this up. Just in January of last year, January 23, it went up 46.2%.
Damn.
No. Wait. What did you just say? It went up 46?
I thought it was all of 2003.
No, Tesla's up 100. Tesla's up 102% for 2023.
Oh my God! And we didn't invest in it. Jesus. No. All right, so I'm up 3 right now. Will Twitter be higher? The price. I said no. You said yes. The answer is it is no longer traded.
I mean, I don't know what you want to do with that. I then added, to be generous to you, that the value is estimated that it's lost 71.5% since he took control.
Well, I don't know. That sounds like a point for me.
I mean, I'll give you that.
All right, so I'm plus 4.
The stock would be lower, I think. Yeah, unless there's real shenanigans. I don't know what he would have done.
Will we drive a self-driving car? That just meant will either of us get behind the wheel and drive a self-driving car? I said no. I said yes. You said no. I have not. Have you driven one?
No, I have not been in a car alone that was driving.
Okay, so you get a point for that.
Or with people where I think you define it as no one can be in the driver's seat.
Right. Now we have how many live podcasts will we do?
I was closer.
We in fact did none. You said 2. I said 1. No, you said 1. I said 2. So I'm only up 2 now. Will the Ukraine end? I said yes. You said no. It, in fact, is going strong. So I'm now only up 1. Holy shit. It's a comeback from 6. I was up 6 a second ago.
You got it, punk.
Will Guy from Bills play again? Damar Hamlin. I said no. You said yes. He is, in fact, playing for the Bills right now. It is even.
Look at that.
Next question.
He played. I wonder if he's in the rotation now, but he played a game in October.
Yeah, it was just will he play again? Will there be significant... This was following Dana White beating up his wife in public. Will there be a significant punishment? We both said no, and we were both correct. There was nothing except that he's labeled as a woman beater now.
We knew that one.
Next question was, will Gibbons appear? You said yes on the show. I said no. In fact, he made an appearance. It'll never be forgotten.
I did it with him, proudly.
You are now 1 up.
You got it.
Will gas be over or under $5 in California? I said over. You said under. It is currently $4.69. You are up 2.
Come on now.
Will Ghislaine Maxwell be killed in prison? I said yes. You said no. She was not killed. You are up 3.
All right. We should pause for a second. Are we doing predictions anymore?
Oh, yeah. That's right. Okay, let's go back. We got to go back to...
Pretty far. Forget Will Smith.
We got to Kimmel. All right.
No, higher up. Jobs.
Oh, yeah. Will we get union jobs this year?
God, there aren't many, but I have my fingers crossed for a pitch that I'm out with. But another one was a job I did have that got interrupted by, it was Brady then coming out of retirement.
Oh, the roast.
I'm on the podcast, sweetie.
Yeah.
So that job would be union. I think I'm going to have, even if it's a tiny one, my answer is yes.
All right, I'm going to say yes as well, because to not would be to jinx myself.
Oh.
And then the next one is Brady's done. Will Tesla stock be higher? I say no.
I say yes.
Okay. Twitter's no longer traded. Will we drive a self-driving car? I say yes.
I say no.
You getting all this, Denman? How many live podcasts will we do? I'm going to say 1.
Well, I could tank that by saying 0 and then sticking to my guns. I'm going to say 1 also.
Okay.
You thought the Ukraine
put down the self-driving
war would be
car
over
answers
by now. Huh?
Are you want to guess on Ukraine again?
Is Ukraine even a thing in a year?
Right, I know. I think they will settle this year, and they will give away Crimea, and what's the other area that they're occupied right now?
I don't think Ukraine will be settled, but we have to define that, because I guess there's a way to define it. Like, is it active?
Will they make a treaty and a settlement of land?
It just moves so slowly. I'm going to say, I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say yes.
And then you have Hamas down below. We'll get to that.
Gas. We were at gas. Will it be under or over $5 in a year? I'm going to say under.
Me too. And I remember my rationale. It's the same. It's under. I said it's getting close to an election year, and I think there's going to be a lot of pressure to get that down.
All right, Ghislaine, will she be alive in a year?
By the way, where did you get the $4.69?
I said, what's the average price of gas in California? It said $4.69 for regular unleaded.
Okay, great. We'll remember that too. All right, perfect. Ghislaine will be alive.
I say she's going to be dead.
Whoa.
Yep. There's a lot of shit coming out, and she's the only one that can corroborate it. She's getting taken down.
Man, that's
the question was, will Howard Stern re-sign a contract with Sirius XM? We both said yes. He, in fact, reached a 5-year deal to continue for $90 million a year.
Will he be alive?
Will Mike be engaged? We both said no. Mike, anything happen in New Orleans?
No. I'm not engaged. No ring on my finger.
Okay. Will there be a space shuttle disaster? I said yes. You said no. Was there any human death this year in a space shuttle?
No.
No. Okay. Next year, I say yes.
What? Okay, I go no again.
Okay. And so you're now up 4.
Yeah, this is easy.
Okay. Will China invade Taiwan? You said no. I said yes.
This is a landslide, man.
Oh, my God.
You've gotten more negative. There's been a shift. You're more pessimistic about the world than I am.
I just lost 11 points straight. This is fucking crazy.
No, we had some ties along the way. You're better than that. You're better than that, pal.
Will Prince Harry attend the King's coronation? If yes, with Meghan. I said yes, he would. And I said without Meghan. And you said yes, with Meghan. In fact, he attended without Meghan.
That's a +1 for you.
So that's +4 for you overall. Who will take over Trevor Noah's hosting job? There is no answer to that. By the way, did you read the
explanation I put in here? When I Googled, Markle did not attend as she claims that all the drama around the royals would disturb her inner peace and state of mind, as she has been very outspoken on different channels, including the Netflix docuseries.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, that's one way of saying the shit stirrer will not go to the shit.
Right.
Like, what? Oh, my God. Dish it out. You got to take it.
Will George Santos get the boot or resign from Congress? We both said no. In fact, yes.
That was also pessimistic of us.
Yeah.
But they had everything. Like, what would it take? I'm actually surprised he's out.
All right,
despite how egregious it all is.
I'm skipping this last one because we both agreed. So next year, I got a few new questions. Will Palestinians return to Gaza? Right now, 90% of the Palestinians have fled Gaza. So will there be a net return to Gaza within a year?
No way.
I say yes. Okay.
I mean, I don't even know what's going to happen to that region.
Will we cut aid to Ukraine?
I think that's a very hard one to quantify.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, like, almost technically we have, just because of the delays.
Yeah.
I think we already got our prediction on Ukraine.
Okay. Who else will be on Epstein's list?
Oh, okay.
You get 3 picks.
Oh.
I'm gonna say Bill Maher.
Huh.
RFK Jr. and Rudy Giuliani.
Wait, don't we know rumors about the last 2 there?
No, I haven't heard any.
Huh.
I actually Googled Giuliani and Epstein and nothing came up. Surprisingly.
I'm going to go Michelle Obama, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and let's think. I'm going to go with,
Kid Rock. You could pick Kid Rock.
But there's weird ones. Like, I've already seen Woody Allen, like, in New York with him. You know what I mean? Not on the island.
Oh, yeah. The list is on the plane. You have to be on the plane.
Okay. All right. I need a little more time.
All right.
By the end of the podcast, and I'm not going to Google. I'm not going to Google anything. I'm just thinking, who are some usual creeps?
All right. Well, we're an hour into the podcast and we're just hitting the news. So let's rip through some stories so we don't bore people to tears. You got some paper to crinkle for the front page?
Oh, man, do I?
Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
It began on Wednesday with nearly 1,000 pages filed as part of the 2015 lawsuit against Epstein's close friend Ghislaine by one of his victims. The disclosures included the former U.S. President Bill Clinton, the late pop star Michael Jackson, the magician David Copperfield, and Prince Andrew. Now, when I read this, I imagine Michael Jackson was furious when he eagerly got off the plane and saw all the underage kids were female. And then he turns to Copperfield and begs David Copperfield to turn them all into boys. And won't let it go for 3 days and then gets his own jet out of there.
All right.
And then, of course, Stephen Hawking was added to the list, in which Epstein mentioned an allegation that Hawking participated in an underage orgy in the Virgin Islands. And my take on that is that I think Stephen Hawking has the best line with underage girls, which is, well, you're not really underage because what is time?
Your
Funny
particles
pedophile
exist in the time-space continuum. Play with my balls.
Many feel you are older than I.
By the way, how do you prosecute a guy who can't move his arms and his legs? I mean, they clearly are doing the work. I think they're guilty of molesting him.
It must have been lap dance palooza.
Oh, my God.
Also, have you seen the guy? I mean, I know we've all seen him, but his face, I think, got worse. Because I think they showed pictures from his last year or around this time. And yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm just going to say there's a lot. I know it's the wrong he's the smartest guy in the world, but there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Especially for these poor girls. Jesus.
All right, so this Chinese 17-year-old...
I just said the absolute most insensitive thing ever, but there's also that. Let's be real.
I'll top it on this next one. A 17-year-old Chinese exchange student who had been reported missing last week was rescued after nearly freezing to death in a tent outside of Salt Lake City. Authorities say Kai Zhuang was the victim of a cyber kidnapping. He was found alone and very cold and scared in a snowy canyon. The victim had no heat source, only a heat blanket. Well, that's a heat source. What's he plugging the heat blanket into?
Now, heat blanket's a weird term. I think it might be one of those reflective that keeps your heat in.
Right.
Who knows? Even if it's a heat blanket that's electric, it's not working.
A sleeping bag, limited food and water, and several phones that were used to carry out the cyber kidnapping. The teen had run away from his home December 28th after cyber criminals convinced him his family in China was being threatened. His family told police they had paid $80,000 in ransom after he sent a photo saying he was being held against his will. Police say they suspect the foreign exchange student was tricked into running away to force his family to pay ransom. The FBI and Chinese embassy are helping find the kidnappers. We believe the victim was isolating himself at the direction of the cyber kidnappers in a tent. So, I guess Portland is just overrun with people who kidnap themselves?
Yeah. They're all in there with their solar blankets.
Yes.
Multiple phones.
Paying $70,000 to some geek who lives in his parents' basement somewhere in, like, Spokane.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard of Chinese delivery, but you now can order online a Chinese person as your captive? That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, so what? Something tells me that when this guy was a kid, he jumped off a bridge because somebody told him to.
Because some online comment told him to.
Yeah.
Well, he almost had hypothermia. All his water was frozen, and the sesame noodles were still cold.
Oh, that's the best. That's awesome.
Cold.
Yeah. The dog eating your homework is a story as old as time, but for a Pennsylvania couple, it came true and cost them thousands of dollars. Clayton and Carrie Law had taken cash out to do a home improvement project, left the money on the countertop, and their dog Cecil snacked on it. I just walked around the house doing stuff and came back, and all of a sudden, Cecil was standing over a pile of mutilated cash. The dog seemed fine at first till the middle of the night when the Laws were awoken by a sound of the pet about to vomit. So he jumped out of bed, and when I went to pick it up, I realized there's a lot of half-eaten $100 bills and $50 bills. That night was the first of many in the coming days where the Laws had the unfortunate task of sifting through their dog's bodily waste.
Nice.
They put some pieces back together. How's that home improvement project coming? The only contractor who will accept the money that smells like shit is the plumber. Everybody else is like, nah, I'm good. I got another project across town. You can keep your shit money.
Here was my honest reaction. The honest reaction I thought about this when I read the story, I was like, first thing I do is Google what happens to dollar bills. There's some sort of linen. I don't know what they're made out of, but whatever that material is that they now make dollars out of, then I had to ask myself, why am I Googling what would happen to it? Because what if it says the stomach acid will absolutely dissolve them? I think the next thing I do is, how old is our dog? Because I am totally thinking about cutting it open.
Yes. Well,
truly.
I mean, are you talking about bringing it to a vet for surgery, or are you talking about laying him in the backyard and splaying him like a cod?
No, I had the kitchen in mind, but yes, that. I had maybe the garage. I think the garage, maybe hopefully in a laundry sink.
Now, better solution. Go to the dog store and be like, do you guys sell food, like Indian dog food? And have him shit it out over the next 20 minutes.
Now I got my curry dollar bills back. Oh.
All right, let's skip this next one.
Okay.
And go to the lovely ladies at Linden Pond Senior Living Community in Hingham, that's in Massachusetts.
Oh, no.
Are turning heads with an eye-opening new calendar. A group of women aged 69 to 92 are not afraid to get risque and pose scantily to raise money for their fund. I was at a bar on Sunday morning, and I was a Playboy bunny, Miss December, Judy Haas told WBZ-TV. I had it done twice because the first time the book wasn't high enough, I guess, to cover her tits. Did not need to be very high. That book could have been in her lap without seeing her
standing
tits.
On it.
This is all in secret. I don't have a husband, so it's not a problem. I had to make my own prop. I had a quilt, Miss March Sandy Creaser, a lot of creases. I bought one of these. It's part of my New Year's resolution to lose weight through vomiting once a month.
Well, this is one community center that a lot of these names on the flight log will never have been to. I think it's the exact opposite of their taste in age.
Yeah. I wonder if they put them in age order for the months. Like Miss January is like doing some nude yoga. Miss December is naked in a wheelchair clinging to rosary beads and a bottle of Ensure.
Yeah, of course it's themed. Oh, it better be.
Yeah.
Better be some thought behind this.
All right, let's skip this next one and go to entertainment. Give me a crinkle.
Here it is.
We got an email. Oh, I didn't write down who sent it, but The Last Waltz, so great. There was a rift between Levon and Robbie, and some say that Robbie takes credit where it should have been given to Levon. That explains why the music sounds so American. That's Levon, because I had claimed that they were an American band, and I forgot that most of them were from Canada. Mike has asked for new music recommendations. There's a guy named Tash Neal. He's awesome. Guitar player with an incredible voice. I checked him out. Fantastic.
Oh, by the way, it's worth mentioning, which I did to you, so the bluegrass thing, I'm watching Billy Strings, who is exactly like this guy describes, a guitar player with an incredible voice. And, it's this arena. I don't know how many people are in there, probably 15,000 or 12, 13,000. Everyone's just rocking. The band's killing it. And then you slowly realize there's no drum kit because bluegrass doesn't have drums.
Amazing.
And it was a stand-up bass, and that guy's doing all that low-end heavy lifting, and it was incredible. I did want to mention that's a unique part of bluegrass, that there's no drum kit.
Wow. It's like the Beatles.
I know. It's pretty wild. So when you hear him and you hear his live and you hear his covers of Pink Floyd and all this amazing stuff, yeah, nothing. So we both saw Chappelle's new special. I watched it. It was late. And I was tired, but I watched it with Sophie, and I guess I'm hesitating, but I thought it was okay.
I loved it. I listened to it on New Year's Day driving from Milwaukee down to Chicago, and I was driving with the other comedian, Dion Curry.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we fucking laughed a lot. And I felt like, and then I watched, I didn't listen to the whole thing. So the last 20 minutes I watched, and I just think he's like one of the great orators in American history.
Yes.
Like, even when he's not being funny, I'm completely compelled by everything he's saying.
And this was this the Russian story? The guy at the, what was his last story? Was that, because then we watched, I think, another Chappelle thing. Was it his first taped special and music came
right. Yeah.
All right, it's an amazing story. So there's two things. I want to contextualize my review. I saw him in Nashville, as you know. So I already saw this set.
Uh-huh.
So that's one. Two, I think listening to it would have been better because he was doing, you know when he cracks himself up
and he has to slap the mic into his thigh.
He slaps the mic into his thigh. You get a little sick of seeing that. And I think some of them you wouldn't have known he did it if you're just listening.
By the way, every black comedian in the country now slaps their thigh with the microphone.
And he used to do it what I thought was a perfect amount, like when he knew he just said something cancelable kind of or outrageous, and there's another level of what he's laughing at. Not only is it funny, but it's sort of crazy that he said it.
Yeah.
This was like there aren't that many crazy things that you're saying. Like in other words, so it reminds me it's a very, very big difference watching it versus hearing it. Like I told you, I went back and listened to Norm's final one where you no longer saw him sitting at a desk, not making eye contact with a laptop computer. And you're like, this is a really solid hour, and that's
with no audience. Yeah.
Right. So.
Well, I liked it. And I agree that that shit can get tired, the turning around and walking away on the laugh and all that stuff. But I don't know. I was all in, and I thought it was great.
But if you're just listening, sometimes he's dropped a bomb and you hear it going off and you don't know he's walked away. You know what I mean? When you're listening,
right.
You're imagining him staring down the audience or smiling at him. And that's much better.
Yeah.
So
speaking of comedians,
listen, it's good. Everyone should see it. Don't get me wrong.
Speaking of comedians, Jimmy Kimmel and Aaron Rodgers are beefing. The late night talk show host is now threatening the New York Jets quarterback with legal action after Aaron suggested on live TV that Jimmy might be one of Epstein's associates.
All right, that's my first name that I'm adding back to what I owe you. I owe you Jimmy Kimmel. Flight
for
log.
What?
Remember I owe you names for the flight log from before?
Oh, shit. There you go. Jimmy just fired back on social media, ripping Aaron, who he addresses as dear asshole, saying the quarterback's reckless words put my family in danger. He denied anything to do with Epstein, and he blasted Rodgers as a soft-brained wacko who can't seem to distinguish from reality. Jimmy Kimmel says if Rodgers keeps it up, they will debate the facts further in courts. Damn. First, Aaron Rodgers gets traded to the worst team in football, then blows out his leg, and now he gets bitch slapped by Kimmel. He should see if there's a vaccination for humiliation.
Did you put down what he said here? He said
no.
I think Kimmel would lose in court. I don't think he would ever do it either.
He basically said that Jimmy Kimmel is nervous, waiting to see what names come out on the Epstein thing. Yeah.
Right. So that's bulletproof. But I'm smelling, is this like a made up beef? Is Kimmel doing, because it's pretty well orchestrated. They have to stick to their guns. No,
I think Kimmel is a whipping boy. Is that what they call it when somebody's attacked by a group? The right can't stand him because he is so vocal against the right now. So I think Aaron Rodgers was taking a shot at him. Like you said, I think what he said is probably not indictable in court.
No, I also think, I mean, Aaron Rodgers maybe also was joking, like if they have like a little beef, he's like, well, someone who should be worried is Jimmy.
Yeah.
But, it's like a little swipe back at him because Jimmy Kimmel was hitting Rodgers pretty hard. I think Jimmy obviously was the first to attack. I mean, that's Jimmy's job. It's not Aaron Rodgers' job to single out Jimmy Kimmel.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers doesn't do the news. But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a wacko, but I'm doubting. I don't know. Something doesn't smell right about this.
Oh, here's the quote. There's a lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, really hoping that doesn't come out, Rodgers said to McAfee. I'll tell you what, if that list comes out, I definitely will be popping some sort of bottle, which he said on the Pat McAfee show.
But Rodgers could also say, Jimmy is a hardcore lefty, and he doesn't want to see Clinton's name on the list,
Yeah, right. All right.
There are people I hate seeing on the list, not Clinton, but like whatever. There's people who were affiliated with Epstein that you're like, fuck, dude, really?
Yeah, I know. Who is the wasn't Warren Buffett on the list?
I don't know, but it's so funny.
No, not Buffett.
You and I are like, wait a minute.
No, Bill Gates. I think Bill Gates was on the list.
Oh, Bill Gates, I think so. Yeah, I think Bill Gates is on the list.
Yeah.
But it's so funny you and I are like, about Warren Beatty, we're like, oh man, is the biggest pussy hound ever on the list?
Yeah.
No way.
All right. I'll tell you who else was on that list is Russell Simmons. His name will come out. I guarantee it. I know firsthand he was on the island. Allegedly.
Whose name I want on the list is Russell Brand.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Right.
Even if
I don't know that Russell Simmons
there, I
is
just
on the
want to
list.
see him over-explain it.
I've heard rumors that Russell Simmons was on the island.
Russell Simmons is, he's in court.
Yeah, he's already in court for some other shit, but not Epstein.
Maybe settled. Oh, what about Diddy? Oh, I'm going to put Diddy on the list.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
What about Jay-Z?
Yep, I can see that.
Well, yeah, this is how you should think about it. Who are the millionaire musicians, athletes, all that? That's how you should go.
I think Kid Rock. I'm going to put Kid Rock on there.
Yeah. He's so low class. I mean, these are fucking creeps, don't get me wrong, but a lot of them wear suits.
After months of edging, Montana and North Carolina lawmakers have finished off Pornhub. Users in those states lost access to the adult site on January 1st as the new law requires people to verify their age to watch porn. That would have meant uploading a picture. Does that mean you can't be over the age of 40? You have to upload your ID before you watch sorority sisters figure out how to pay a pizza delivery boy.
Oh, sounds wholesome.
So Montana's new law says that pornography is creating a public health crisis. I don't know about a crisis, but I think it is hampering both our abilities to write a spec script.
That's a crisis, dude. We just went a year, as we pointed out earlier, we just went a year without union work.
If we took porn off our computers, we would be like fucking Rodgers and Hammerstein.
I wonder, and whatever, I shouldn't even talk, but I'm wondering, a lot of women have I'm stating the obvious here, but there's a million reasons to be highly critical of the porn industry. I would say now, I don't even know. I guess it's an industry, but so much of what's on there is homemade. Couples who are like, we need to find money wherever we can, and we are married and we have a healthy sex life, and we are going to put it behind a paywall, and if you guys want to watch, you can.
Yes,
that's a very different world.
Well, I think what you're talking about is what's that site called? Where OnlyFans. You're talking about like an OnlyFans situation.
I know, but they're all on these sites now. They have it's almost like free samples.
Yeah.
To get you, look what you're missing.
The ID thing is scary. I would give them my ID, but I am not peeling the electrical tape off of the camera on my computer. I've seen Black Mirror.
Oh God, that episode, if it's the one you're talking about, that's when I checked out of Black Mirror for about 2 years.
Yeah. That was brutal.
I feel terrible after, they're great. It's one of the best shows on TV, but I feel not great after I watch almost everyone, and that one was a new low.
Yeah, that hit hard. That was brutal.
It has dance in the title, and it is not a happy dance.
All right, let's get a happy crinkle because it's time to go to Florida.
Let's do it. All right, here we go. Florida. Oh man, Dickie, our friend Dickie Egan sent us this one. Exploding toilet at Dunkin' Donuts in Florida left customer filthy and injured. A customer has filed a negligence lawsuit against Dunkin', claiming he was injured by an exploding toilet at one of the coffee chain's locations in Central Florida. So for me, I read the headline. It's like exploding toilet at Dunkin' left customer filthy and injured. And then the detail that it was in Florida, so you're like, whoa. And then Florida, you're like, oh, like somehow it got worse.
Yeah, because now there's Giardia in there because of the bad water.
Paul Kerouac is seeking more than $100,000 in a lawsuit filed Wednesday in state court in Orlando, claiming he suffered severe and long-term injuries following the explosion of a toilet. After the explosion left Kerouac covered in human feces, urine, and debris, he walked out of the men's room seeking help from workers. I think the workers have a better lawsuit.
Yeah.
Like, stay in the bathroom if that happens and yell through the door. He wanted help from the workers and the store's manager. An employee told him that they were aware of the problem with the toilet. Wrong move, since there had been previous incidents. After the explosion, left Kerouac in human feces and debris. He walked out of the men's room. Sorry. This is one of Dickie's jokes then. You pasted Dickie's jokes in here.
Yes.
After the explosion left Kerouac covered in human feces, urine, and debris, he walked out of the men's room. So what? Isn't that how every person leaves a Dunkin' bathroom?
Right. Everybody walks out looking like a chocolate-covered donut.
After the explosion left Kerouac covered in human feces, urine, and debris, he walked out of the men's room. An ambulance had to be called to revive customers who passed out from laughing at him. They've officially changed their slogan to America Runs Screaming from Dunkin'. That's unbelievable. A Dunkin' bathroom explodes in Florida and it's not a meth lab. What are the chances?
Yeah. Good.
A couple more. That's on the customer. If you're going to a place that sells a 32-ounce toasted white chocolate latte covered in whipped cream and chocolate sauce, you got to expect exploding toilets. And finally, these are all Dickie. The bathroom was such a mess, they legally had to stay open as a Starbucks.
That's so funny. I was about to sing the same fucking song. Did I ever tell you the story about driving through Iowa late at night after a college show and I hadn't eaten all fucking day or night? I did a show. I had a noontime show the next day about 4 hours away. So I finished my show at one school. I get on the road at like 10 o'clock at night. Have not eaten. Now it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm on a fucking highway in the middle of nowhere in Iowa that has nothing. And I'm dying. And all of a sudden, like a beacon of hope, up in the distance, there's a Taco Bell sign. So I pull in.
You ran for the border.
I go inside. And there's a security guard because I think there's a lot of meth in Iowa. So they have a security guard at a Taco Bell that has nobody in it. And so as I walk in, security guard goes into the bathroom, and I order whatever you order at Taco Bell, and then 5 or 10 minutes later, I have to piss really bad.
Out of your butt.
Door opens. Security guard comes out. He weighs about 340 pounds. I go in, and the bathroom is very much like what this Dunkin' Donuts bathroom would have looked like. and the smell was so, all I realized was this security guard eats 3 meals a day at Taco Bell, and then he shits it out in that bathroom. I was so disgusted. I left the food on the counter. I got back in my car and I started driving. I couldn't eat.
I was dating someone along the way who was like, hold my drink. I'm going to the bathroom. I'm like, well, I'm going to the bathroom too. Like, can't you just hold it? She's like, whoa. If you're holding the drinks, you can't go in the bathroom. Then fine, you go, I'll hold them first. I'm like, what's going on here? Am I with a germaphobe? And then sure enough, during COVID, we all learned that fecal matter is everywhere in the air in a bathroom when the toilet flushes.
When it flushes, right.
And I thought this was the most paranoid person I had ever met in my life. And
especially when it's one of those violent flushes, like you hit the knob and it just is like, whoosh.
It's a jet engine.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, really, the compost is the way to go. My father-in-law used to have a compost toilet, and it just dropped in, and there was no water involved.
So he just went in the middle of the kitchen in a little barrel,
right,
with a lid on it. Wow. All
right. Let's make Alabama, Florida.
Yeah, So I'm thinking we should have talked about this up top, but I've changed my comic out. I don't know if you've seen that yet. I think I'm done with The Far Side. They're amazing.
Really?
But I'm wondering if we switch some things up. And also Australia, we've done well, but sometimes it takes me a long time to find an Australia story that's not too dark and it made news because it's the worst thing ever.
Well, why don't we rotate the location of the second Make Something Florida?
All right, we could do that. Yeah, I was going to say we could hit Alabama. Alabama's going to have no shortage of these Florida type stories.
Right. Well, it's up to you. That's your
it's my department.
Your department. So whatever you want to do. But yeah, let's switch up the comics. I don't want to switch Lockhorns because Lockhorns is fucking gold.
I put the first thing I thought of, and we'll talk about it in a minute. But all right, let's do this. Here we go.
Okay.
Man strips naked. I think Dickie sent us this story. Man strips naked, jumps into Bass Pro Shop's aquarium, and knocks himself unconscious. The 42-year-old man was reported to be acting erratically and drove a vehicle into a pole in the store parking lot. After the crash, he got out of his vehicle, took off his clothes, ran into the Bass Pro Shop, and jumped into the aquarium. Video taken by bystanders showed the man do a cannonball into the aquarium and later stand under the waterfall. He continued to shout something to officers before he climbed over the side of the aquarium and dropped to the concrete floor below, appearing to have been knocked out by the fall. Officers handcuffed the man, this is the best part, who then woke up and began trying to struggle. Like he was not done or fazed by that at all.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the man, the aquarium was stocked with smallmouth bass.
Well, I wonder if he had tried to stay in, if they just started, fishing him out, just putting in I think beer. I think the guy would have bit down on a beer can,
or at least gaff him. Just stick him with that pole and pull him out. I'm surprised anyone in an Alabama Bass Pro Shop noticed a crazy naked man doing a cannonball in the tank. I would assume that happened 3 times a month.
Right. And it's also again, you go to work on Monday and you're at the water cooler. What'd you do this weekend? Oh, I saw Maestro and me and the wife took a walk. What'd you do? Cannonballed into a fucking aquarium at the Bass Pro Shop.
Exactly. Is the guy's name here?
I want to be that guy.
Just 42-year-old.
Yeah.
It's like, what'd you do, Stan? I went to the Bass Pro Shop, and you got me. I did more than that.
All right, let's hit. Should we do sports?
A little bit. You ready? Quick.
Yeah.
We're just going to talk about the game. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow night, Monday night. And all right, here's what troubles me. I'm rooting for Michigan, although I like Washington. Michigan is favored by 4.5, at least as of Saturday morning. Washington keeps getting the underdog status in these, and they constantly are proving it wrong.
So you're going to bet against your daughter's school?
No, I mean, I'm not going to bet, but I can't believe that they're being disrespected again like that, and I think it motivates them.
Yep.
Washington, we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be great. I'm not a college sports guy at all, but this Michigan team is pretty exciting to watch this year. So, we'll go to Penn Mar and watch the game. If anybody's in LA and they want to meet us at Penn Mar to watch the game on Monday night, we'll be there. Or during the day, right?
Yeah, it's 4:30, which I'm going to be. We'll see. I'm leaving a gig on Monday, but hopefully be there on time.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll get a bunch of. We should maybe reserve one of their big tables there.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay.
Yeah. All right, where are we going? This day in history?
Let's do this day in history. January 7th, 2015, in Paris, an attack took place against the satirical weekly newspaper Charlie Hebdo. 2 masked men dressed in black entered the magazine's offices and fired assault rifles, claiming the lives of 12 people and wounding 11. So this was, they were captured 2 days later. There was a shootout with police. Hebdo was founded in 1969, suspended in 1981 due to lack of readers, and then relaunched in 1992. Through humor, the magazine exhibited its criticism of the extreme right, Catholicism, Judaism, and Islam, among others. An attack prior to the one in January occurred in November 2011, following the publication of a caricature of the Prophet Muhammad on the cover. That's what we need. If you guys want to help us get some traction on this podcast, how about some Muhammad logos? Me, Mike, and Muhammad.
That's Greg asking for that. And everyone knows where he's going to be Monday watching the Michigan game.
Yep.
Yeah, man. There's so much to say about that. It's part of it is just religion in general, and just fanatics in general, having nothing to do with religion, but also religion.
You know what's weird is that
it's crazy.
One of the commandments is that you should not have false idols, which actually also means there's supposed to be no depiction of God. It's in most religions because I don't know why, but that's one of the rules. And then you get every fucking Christian in the world's got a cross hanging around their neck. It's like sacrilege.
I know. Well, no false prophets, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Idolatry. I don't know. Yeah.
You're not supposed to depict God. I know that. Yeah. All right, listen, let's cheer up a little bit.
But if your God's powerful, take it easy. Take it easy. I mean, if your God's powerful, a couple of cartoonists who can't even stay open in the 80s, I think you can take it easy. All right, let's move on.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you that some voodoo guy put an owl curse on one of our friends.
Sorry? I don't understand any of that sentence.
Somebody put an owl, A-O-W-L curse on one of our friends.
So they're going to die on a staircase? Married to a gay man?
You're supposed to say who.
Oh.
And then I say, it must be. So one of our listeners wrote that joke in.
Who?
Must be you.
That's the joke.
Yeah. All right,
I think someone put a joke curse on you.
Let's do obituaries.
Yeah.
And that's all, folks.
Let's cheer up from that.
This is cheerful because it's a memory of a guy that brought laughs and joy to people for many years. Shecky Green, one of my heroes. I as a friar, Shecky Green was a guy that I would see on the roasts, and he was amazing. He was a guy who did a residency in Vegas for like 40 years. Died on New Year's Eve. He was one of these guys like fucking fought in the Navy in World War II. And then he started out at a resort and did stand up with Sammy Shore, who's the guy that created the Comedy Store. That's his club.
Yep.
And they worked in all the nightclubs in Chicago, New Orleans, Miami. And then in 1954, he did his first gigs in Vegas. He ended up opening for Sinatra for a lot of years. He used to guest host for Carson on The Tonight Show and Merv Griffin. Hollywood Squares, did a bunch of movies. He was in History of the World. Anyway, he just was a powerhouse, the kind of guy, he just made up a set, walked on stage and just riffed and fucked with people, was in the moment, did a different show every night. He was incredible.
How old was he?
99, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, legend for sure.
Yeah. Everybody dies at 99. Isn't that weird?
We wish. Funnies.
Let's cheer up.
Here we go.
Okay, so we got a note from Jane S. who said last week's Christmas Eve Sunday paper's Far Side featured a caveman named Thag. Did you know that the four-spike formation at the end of a stegosaurus tail is named a thagomizer in honor of Larson's character Thag, initially as a punchline by Larson, but then later adopted by multiple paleontological authorities like Smithsonian Institute and science writers. Isn't that cool?
That's I remember that it was like a slideshow that the cavemen were showing, and they talked about the spikes on the tail of the dinosaur, and like the guys pointing out, like, we call that a thag killer or something like that.
Yeah.
Like from now on, that's the thag killer or something. Thag
That's
stomper.
awesome.
And that was it. Hey,
All
I
right,
heard an interesting thing since we're going short this week. No. That there was no such thing. The Aztecs, just like this, that very late in the game, that scientists just decide to use a new word or whatever. They were never Aztecs or knew of themselves as Aztecs or anything like that. They were a word that was very similar to Mexicans, which was like Mexicans or whatever. And it got confusing. And, it was Mexica. And so it got confusing because it would then be Mexicans.
Yeah.
And anyway, long story short, since they were originally from this Azteca or whatever the city was or the region, they just decided, we're just going to call that group of people, which is a giant group in history, Aztecs.
No shit.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Not interesting enough to bring up, but I thought it was interesting.
Didn't they also do that to, what's the Orient exactly?
Yeah. What do you mean?
I don't know. Let's move on. So speaking of old days,
The Far East?
Hagar the Horrible is sitting at a table.
Or
Helga
the
goes,
Near West?
our neighbor is walking over here with a cup, and he goes, I wonder what she ran out of this time. And then she puts out the cup and says, may I borrow a cup of coins? And Hagar's just looking at her going like, do you know what happens to women when they come over alone to this house? I'll tell you what's going in that cup. My Viking cock, my balls.
Oh, he's also stumped. He's like, what a way to take money. Should I try that approach? That's interesting.
Right. All right, I think we're done with Hagar for a while. That was the last one. It was awful. And now Leroy is laying in a hospital bed. The doctor has got a clipboard. Loretta looks upset. And then Leroy goes, and then Loretta said, would it hurt you to try the chicken? The next one, they're sitting in the marriage counselor, and Loretta says, it used to be just during the games on TV. Now, Leroy shushes me during the commercials.
Leroy should be smiling when that's being said.
I just relate to that because I am a shusher. We had 9 fucking people staying in our house for 2 weeks at Christmas.
Yeah.
And we would sit on the couch and watch TV, and Aaron's brother and sister-in-law are narrators. They are voiceover people during movies. And it makes me fucking crazy because my escape in life, I don't drink. I escape into movies and TV. I go away. I'm so invested in it. And when somebody talks, it destroys all the tension that was built up from what I was watching.
Right.
And I shush people. And people think it's rude that I shush them. I think it's rude that they're talking.
They make you shush them, yeah.
Right. Oh, look who you put in there.
I know.
Wow.
It's Kathy. So I looked up. I just put in like famous comics, right? Famous Sunday comics or whatever. So one of them was Kathy, and I look, and so this is, and then I read a little bit about it. I'm not saying I'm staying with Kathy, but it's in this week. And it was, I think her name was Kathy, an advertising executive. She might have been in the Midwest, and I think she was 26, and then she started writing her first comics, and it's about a frustrated woman, although it looks like a girl, but a frustrated woman who's frustrated with her personal life's not far enough along, and all those frustrations that come.
And she's
with
got
it.
an overbearing mother, and she struggles with weight.
So
and
you see, I don't know a lot of this.
Oh my God, yeah. She has a whole string of guys that she dates, and it never works out, and they're always lazy, and they won't do tasks around the house. And she's very she's a mama's girl.
She's sitting in bed. There's a bowl with a spoon. It can either be cereal, probably ice cream, to her right. On the other nightstand is a box of chocolates, and she's sitting in bed with wrappers all around her, and she's looking, I don't know, kind of like she feels fat. I mean, that's the look on her. And the caption just says, "Wake me up when I'm a size 5." And I just thought, this is refreshingly depressing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to check out more Kathy's and see if we put them in here. But I can also look for other comics.
No. I'm obsessed with Kathy. It is the worst depiction of women by a woman I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, right.
Everything is fat shaming, and I'm a loser, and women need men to define them and make them feel whole.
I am not in any way saying 5 is a big size. It's not. It's petite. But if you're dreaming, I don't know, make it a 3. Make it a 4.
Dream 3. Yeah. Because really, Kathy's a 10. I've always said that. Kathy's a 10.
Right, exactly. She doesn't need to do anything, change anything. But if you're dreaming, I mean, dream smaller than 5, right?
Yeah. So shitbag's laying in bed. He's snoring away in his donut pajamas. And then his alarm goes off. Blondie walks in, and she's wearing a raspberry tight mini dress. She goes, "Wake up, dear. It's time to party." And he's like, "Oh, okay. That nap really recharged me." So he goes, "I don't know why people have to get so dressed up for New Year's Eve." And he puts on a tuxedo. And she goes, "Well, you'll be the hottest hunk in the room. Guaranteed." And so they walked, and I got to tell you, her tits are popping out of this dress. As she walks down the stairs, the definition on her calves as her little toes go into those wedges. And she goes, "If we hurry, we can make it on time." And he's like, "I'm ready." And now the final frame is they're sitting on the couch alone in a gown and a tuxedo. And there's a countdown on the TV. 3, 2, 1, happy 2024. And she goes, "Admit it, you wouldn't have wanted to miss this." He goes, "Maybe, but next year let's record it and sleep in." Can you give her one fucking moment a year? Can you?
Yeah.
Can you not be in bed in donut pajamas on the one night you're expected to actually show up and be charming and share some joy and celebrate the fact that you are hitting so far out of your league right now? You are so fucking I would be spit shining her shoes and massaging her back at 9:30, and for 2.5 hours, I would give her my rapt attention until a kiss is bestowed upon me at midnight, followed by throwing a move in the bed.
Throwing a move on her.
Yeah.
The last frame could be, "Admit it, this was literally what she says. "Admit it, you wouldn't have wanted to miss this." This could be her. Could be that cleavage spilling out of her dress.
Yes.
And look at his reaction.
Yeah.
He can miss that. He won't admit it.
He is the worst. I fucking hate him. God. But I'll tell you who I love. I love Game Time, and I want you guys, if you're going to go see live music, if you're going to see sports, you're going to see comedy, theater, you're going to go to Game Time app, and you're going to put in code PAPERS, and you're going to get yourself a little $20 off. Also, BetterHelp is a great way to start the new year. Visit BetterHelp.com, put in /Sunday, and put in help, betterhelp.com/Sunday and get yourself 10% off your first month. Our thanks to Midcoast Media for launching a new year with your quality editing and producing. Thank you.
Koozies are on the way as of early next week, and we have a bunch more. So if anyone, is it still on your website where they can order it?
Still on fitzdog.com. Not too late to get your koozies for the new year. Go on there. They'll go out right away. They're sitting in Mike's apartment. His daughter is home till the end of January, I just found out. So we got all hands on deck.
She's going abroad. I think I did my dumb joke, but she's going abroad. She's studying spring semester in Amsterdam. And to make it authentic, I'm having a family hide her in their attic just so she really experiences Amsterdam.
Yeah, she's going to write a lot. She said she's going to keep a diary.
In a roomy place.
That's right.
Food delivered every day.
Yep. All right. Well, that's it. We'll check on our. You won the predictions this year. Congratulations. I think you were up like 3 at the end.
And I think I'm locked for next year. I just have to get you a couple of people who are on the flight log.
Oh, right. Okay.
I got to think of more rich creeps. Kind of like, his lawyer has already been rumored to go, right? That jackass from Harvard.
Who's that?
Oh, the red-haired guy with the mustache. I forget his name, of course.
Right. Yeah. He's awful.
Total dick. Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, I'll see you at the game on Monday.
You got it.
And I'll see you next week.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Papers.